Hello everybody, welcome to another Dragon Ball card game deck profile. This time around I'm bringing back my androids, a deck that I just have so much fun playing with because this deck is just so cool in the way that it works, and I'm not using Cell Chain. It's not that I don't like Cell Chain, it's just I like playing the android build, like the android heavy build, a lot more. And let me tell you something, this deck got so many new toys to mess around with, it's actually insane. I'm surprised I didn't come back to the game when they got all these cards. I quit just more or less when Set 5 came out. Well, I didn't really quit, I just took a break. But now I'm back in it, I just want to mess around with my androids because it's my second favorite deck to play after my Gotenks decks. Anyway, so Android 17 and Android 18, the whole concept of this deck is to just generate a ton of card advantage through a few different ways and to just really overwhelm our opponent with our huge androids, which will have lots of different things to just be really annoying and frustrating to deal with, so that our opponent will just not be able to retaliate. Now, the cool thing about the androids is that they actually awaken when they have 6 life, so you can get that early advantage earlier on, and you really just want to awaken as quickly as possible because when you awaken, your leader is treated as 17 and 18, meaning if you encounter your Destiny Deed Krillins, you can essentially play them for free because you have an Android 18. The only cards that I'm missing in this deck, all the cards that I don't have space for, is the twin duos, the ones that you can discard a card to restand your androids. I think those cards are really, really neat because once you have some of your androids with critical or double strike or whatever, you can just attack a bunch of times and deal a ton of damage. So I might include some twin 17s and 18s, but for the time being I'm just super happy with my current list. Before I go into the list itself, where I talk a little bit about each card, I'll give you guys a friendly reminder too at the end of the video. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, as it shows me that you like what I'm doing and you want to keep up with my Dragon Ball content. Now, the list is right here on screen. Feel free to just take a look at the list and mess around with it yourself. But if you want to stick around and hear to what I have to say, I appreciate that very, very much. So let's get started with the first card in deck, and that is Dr. Gero, Evil Inventor. This is essentially every one drop that supports a theme. You just play this, look at the top X cards, and add X cards. So this just adds for your Android. Is pretty good. Definitely not as good as your newfound Power Son Gohan or your Infernal Messenger, but it's definitely a good card to just have in the deck to just help you dig through those necessary pieces in your deck. Then we have Infernal Messenger. This card is absolutely amazing. It's basically a one-drop Pot of Greed. You just add 2 17s. There's there's 3 different 17 types of 17s you can add, and this just gets 2 of them, which is pretty nice. And it's really the main reason why I'm playing the Endless Malice 17, because it's a no, I think this one is just Android 17. It's not a Hellfighter, but I don't think you have to add choose a total of 2 all of your 17, so I don't think they have to be different ones. You can just add 2 of the same, and I just think that's pretty nice. Anyway, so this guy's just absolutely amazing. You really want to play this early on, but then later on, if you're looking for a specific 17, this card helps you to do that. If not, you can just use this energy. Then we have Shocking Death Ball. This KO is just absolutely amazing, and I think it really just power crept full power energy as a counter, because when you counter something, you can just KO something with a cost of 2 or less. So this card is really, really good at giving you tempo to just, for 1 mana, you get to KO something that's worth 2 mana, so you kind of just profited that 1 mana. And you can also play this card for free if you have 5 cards in the drop areas, which is not the hardest thing in this deck. Then we have our 1 drop, the amazing 1 green drop, Newfound Power Son Gohan. You just play this. It's basically Intensify Power Trunks, but in the form of Gohan, where you just take a life against crit, becomes 15k. A lot of times the opponent is just going to let this go through, and even if they don't, if they combo cards protect their life, or make sure the crit doesn't go off, and instead they just don't take the crit damage, you're already taking cards out of their hand this way. But most of the time, your opponent is just going to let this damage go through. Then we have the 3 copies of Destiny Deed Krillin. I think 4 is a little bit too much, but 3, it's kind of you still want to see this card at some point in the duel, just because it's a nice little blocker to have. Moving on, we have the Android 20 Valkyrie. This is essentially your double strike Champa for the deck. When you combo with this card, and it's a green android that's attacking against +5 and a double strike. So it's essentially I don't know if it's +10 double strike or if it's +5 double strike, but either way you get that double strike, which is really what matters most. And moving on to the second row of cards, we have the Endless Malice Android 17. When this card attacks, burst 3, and then you gain +5 in critical. So essentially, this is a really good card to play as a 1-drop because it works very similarly to Gohan, but instead of taking a life, you just mill 3 cards and then you get that +5 critical. Very strong card, especially because your androids cost 1 less, so this is just a really powerful 1-drop to have. Moving on to my super combo of choice is Defensive Stance Super Saiyan Vegeta, just because it's a sparking combo, meaning I can use this much earlier on, and I don't need to rely on being in a certain amount of life points, just because I'm going to be bailing a few cards, or I'm going to be setting up my drop area pretty quickly. Then we have Preemptive Strike. This is a nice little card to just like say no to our opponent when we want to put the final nail in the coffin. This card will help us to do that. If you know your matchups very well, or like your local metagame or your regional metagame, if you're prepared for the upcoming decks, you know exactly what to stop. This card will essentially just win your game for free, because when your opponent plays something that costs 4 less, you just say no, you pay your 2 energy, and you just proceed to kill them next turn. Then we have the Dreadful Duos. I absolutely love these guys. They are just so good. They work so well with this deck just because they have inherited grit. And then 17 can bring out an 18 from the hand. And then 18 can just KO something that's 3 or less when you use her active main effect, which is a little bit wonky, but just the fact that you can play this card for 2 mana and it has crit makes this card super powerful. Anyway, moving on, we have Energy Card Android 17. This card is just so nuts because it's a 2-drop blocker, 15k, that you can just swing with it, and then at the end of the turn it just goes to active mode. So you always have that blocker on demand to stop your opponent's attacks, assuming they're attacking you with like little cards that just deal chip damage at you. You can just easily stop them with 17. And it's just a really solid name for the deck. Then we have the Deadly Defender Android 18. This card is absolutely amazing because there are times that you do want to protect your life, even though this deck is pretty aggressive. This card not only helps you to be aggressive because you actually want to swing with this card, but also it's a nice, one of the better 18s that the Androids got in recent times. This is essentially an awe-inspiring Vegito type card where during your opponent's turn, if your leader is X color, and this card is in rest mode, your opponent can't attack leader cards. And this card gains, this card loses plus 5,000 power, so the opponent technically has to get over this card first before they can actually attack your leader. Now, the really interesting thing, well, the really nice interaction with this card in this leader is that usually this card would be 15k. However, if you're a 4 life, your diabolical android 17 and 18 is actually buff all your androids by 5, so you have a 20k little blocker that your opponent has to deal with, and then if they don't deal with it, then you can just swing it with it next turn. It has barriers, so it's very difficult for the opponent to get rid of, and it's just a nice little card to just swing at your opponent with. And remember that when you swing with this card, if you're a 4 life or less, it's going to be 25k, but on your opponent's turn it's going to be 20k. Finally, we have a Limitless Energy Android 17, the good old. This is just the main card they're going to be spamming out in the later turns of the game, where you just play this, KO something, you play this, KO something, and you know it has barrier, it's a blocker, and it can go up to 25k, which is really strong. Other than that, like, the card is nice because you can give it a double strike with Android 20, but just having a really annoying barrier blocker on the field is pretty good. Finally, for the additional Super-esque combo, we have the Infernal Villainy Cell. I think this is pretty much a staple in most green decks, just because it's another super combo for the deck. It's a super combo that costs 1 mana, and this deck is pretty efficient using mana because all your androids are much cheaper. So therefore, your Infernal Villainy Cell just puts in a lot of work because you can give your cards that 10k pump and draw cards, so you can cycle through your deck a little bit faster. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my Android list. It's a pretty short list, I think. Even though this deck got a lot of new cards, most of these cards are just like super good on their own, that like they don't require much explanation. You play this because it's just really good, right? And there's less filler in the deck like it used to be. The cell chain is still pretty viable, and there's obviously like some cards that you can cut to fit in a cell chain, but I just think the deck is more fun for me without the cell chain, and it really like makes the androids shine because they just put in so much work. The only thing that I would change in this deck is definitely adding either a Shenron Figure of Majesty or the twin 17 and 18, just to restand my android so I can attack multiple times, especially when I give something double strike, that means I can like abuse the double strike even more with like criticals and stuff, right? Because if I have one of the twins, I can just discard a card, restand something, and then it keeps the buffs that I got from the Enter 20 Val Creator. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this list. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.